meaning Saturn, which is what they quite literally mean in the cuneiform, and pronounced tortoise, representative also of the shape of the UFOs, as tortoise shells or domes from that same place. This is why you see the bad UFOs often represented as tortoise shell-shaped discs or dishes. The logogram disc is also pronounced dish. Tur and dis, or turdis, not only means Saturn in the Sumerian language, but also translates as birth hut of man or birth hut of the penis. As the Africans know, it really is a reference to both the clitoris and the penis, as they are really one and the same, just as men and women are, at one time, both female in the womb. As always, science shows us more evidence that the red is approaching for a repentance to undo what was done and return us to the original Adamic or hermaphroditic state, so we are once again able to keep our seed in us, as Asu stated we are to do, as he who is from above in 1 John 3:9. Currently, about 1 in 250 children are born with both male and female sex organs, similar to what would be called androgynous or hermaphroditic, many more than ever before. Interestingly, there is also another phenotype or outward appearance that is occurring that has a similar ratio of 1 in 250. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed red hair, you are right. About 1 in every 250 children is born with red hair. These two occurrences are connected, and what is happening is the resurgence of the red as a fulfillment of prophecy. Isaac told Esau, and his son, the firstborn, in Genesis 27:40, after his mother had stolen his birthright and given it to Jacob, the blue, whose name was changed to Israel in Genesis 32:28 and 35:10, that the day would come when Esau would have dominion and would break the yoke of his brother off of his neck that was placed there unlawfully. And that day is quickly coming. And if you haven't asked yourself already, what yoke have we been under, maybe you should. If the Father is truly the good shepherd, as we are told, and he and his son Asu are one, as we are told in John 10:30, then this shearing or reaping can only be a good thing to bring us, just like the prodigal sons that we've become, back to him. And just in case you may still be wondering how the red dragon can be viewed as good, when in Revelation 12:9 it says that a dragon was cast out and refers to it as the serpent, Satan, and the devil, let me clarify. Firstly, there are two different serpents or dragons, just like in our double helix DNA, and just as is depicted in the symbol representing the medical profession. One of them is good and one of them is bad. Unfortunately, the one that was cast out, just as it tells us in that same verse, is currently ruling over us on earth, the place where she was cast. This would be the blue dragon, Lucifer, Satan, or Saturn. And if you read that, you'll understand full well that it's full of ambiguity. That's why it's important to break these things down and to research them, which usually means going back to the Sumerian. This ruling dragon, being from Saturn, is represented by the same symbol that represents Saturn, the hexagon found on its north pole, represented today as the blue six-pointed star. The red dragon, as I've already shown, is the Father, or who we think of as God. He is the creator in the true sense of the word, rather than simply a molder of another person's creation, which is what Yahweh was doing to Adam's genetics in chapter 2 of Genesis. Also, the word dragon is used here to confuse and to paint a picture, just like in the movies that they put out, of a vicious, violent, fire-breathing, malevolent creature with malicious intent. The word dragon in the Hebrew language is the word drakon. meaning a dragon or serpent, but it is of uncertain origin, as you'll notice if you look at the various concordances. They speculate that it is from the word derkomai, which means to look, which doesn't really make sense. But the fact is, they really do not know what the origin of the word is, like so many other words in the Bible, because like all other theologians and pastors, they have not looked into the correct language. When we take the word dragon and break it down into its corresponding Sumerian logograms, remembering to remove the R as the scribes and Freemasons do, and remembering that the U in Sumerian is almost always pronounced like an O, we get the logograms Dag, D-A-G, and Gun, G-U-N. The logogram Dag in this context means dwelling place. The logogram Gun means side. The side is a reference to the place from which the rib was taken or stolen by Yahweh in Genesis 2:21, which is the same planet Nibiru. The word for rib in the Hebrew is tselah, T-S-E-L-A, and means, quite literally, side. So, therefore, the first meaning that we have here when we add these two logograms together is dwelling place of the rib. The combination of these two logograms, however, also gives us another meaning. The logogram Gun, G-U-N, is also spelled G-U-D in the cuneiform and pronounced God. The second meaning, therefore, of the dragon, which is Nibiru, is